Hi folks, my name is Dr. Mannan. I'm a GP and I'm also a medical director at Blue Peanuts Medical Education. A number of you have been contacting us with regards to low UCAT scores. You've been contacting us, your parents have been contacting us. Can we apply to UK medical schools and dental schools for that matter with a low UCAT score? Well, the answer isn't simple. As you'll understand, applying to a UK medical school or a dental school, it becomes a bit more challenging with a low UCAT score. Exactly what should that score be? Well, I'm sure you'd agree it varies. Universities have different thresholds, so some will accept students at a lower score than others. I'm sure you also know that universities use the UCAT score as a criterion for medical and dental applicants. However, it is not the sole criterion. People use other criteria for applicants, such as A-level scores, such as GCSEs, such as how you perform at interview. UCAT is one of those, and of course universities use it differently. So on that basis, I would say it becomes a bit more challenging to get into medical school and dental school with a lower UCAT score. But I wouldn't say it's impossible. So having done my own research recently, I can talk to you about a number of universities who look at low UCAT scoring candidates. But there's a caveat to this. I would suggest you do your own research at the time of asking this question, because year on year what we find is that universities vary in terms of how they take applicants, how they score applicants, how they use the UCAT score, and therefore update yourself. What I'm about to tell you now and mention some of the universities may be very different in a year's time. I hope you can understand that. One example would be Aston University, who we have found that historically they're willing to interview candidates with lower UCAT scores. So at the time of checking, I noted that the UK candidates scoring scores of 2,450 and international students scoring scores of 2,210 were being interviewed. But please be aware that Aston University has a number of other criteria you should be aware of. For example, the emphasis on widening participation students from a certain geographical locality around the Aston University having a better preference for that medical school. So if you're applying from further afield or abroad, your chances might be lower in getting into Aston University. So that might be something you want to think about.
Hi everyone, I hope you are enjoying this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Before we go on to the next medical school, have a look at our interview courses and MMI circuit days, which are taught live in person by Dr. Mannan in Manchester, London and Birmingham, as well as an option to attend using Zoom. Historically, between 95 and 98% of students have at least one offer after completing our courses, and we get record numbers of students that have 4 out of 4 offers from medicine and dentistry. Head over to bluepeanut.com to learn more, or click the links in the description below.
Birmingham University is another of the universities who don't have a minimum UCAT threshold. So technically you can argue that anybody with any score should be able to get an interview at Birmingham. However, contextualize this with the fact that whilst they will look at a weighting of 40% UCAT, they also have a 45% weighting on academic qualities and 15% on contextual circumstances, such as widening participation, geography, where you went to school, etc. So keep all that in mind. You may have a increased chance of getting into Birmingham University with a lower UCAT score if you fit into, say, a good academic weighting and also certain widening participation criteria are met. Exeter University is another of those universities where a lower UCAT score may still allow you to get in there, because the weighting for UCAT at Exeter as it stands at the moment is 25%. Weighting for academic ability, so your A-level results, your GCSE results and so forth, accounts for 75%. So that might be somewhere where you could have an edge should your academic ability be higher. Keele University also seems to have a low threshold for UCAT scores. They also look at the situation and judgment bands and are a lot more flexible, even if you have a band 3 and a band 4. But bear in mind that performance at interview and other weighting, looking at GCSEs, A-levels, has a more significant role to play. We also see that Queen's Belfast include the UCAT score as part of their scoring system for they bring you to interview. And in that scoring system, where they have a total points of 37, 6 of those are allocated for how you do in your UCAT test. And that means they're scoring a number of points for GCSE, for A-levels, for how your application is and other things. So there I feel you may have a better chance of getting in with a lower UCAT score. Sunderland will look at your UCAT score and they will invite you, so long as you fall into the top 8 deciles of the UCAT scores. So again, it's a wider band of people they'll interview, and also they're willing to interview SJT candidates who fall into groups 1, 2 and 3. So as you can see, there's a number of universities that I've discussed, and I think there are more if you look in who will consider candidates with a lower UCAT score, albeit it's a bit more competitive for you, but it's never say never here. If you've got a strong academic record, if you have other factors playing in your favour, such as contextual and widening participation criterion, then by all means have a look at these universities.